Hey everyone, Imran Siddiq, Web Squadron, back from holiday in Jersey, and it was really good fun. Kind of good fun. I'm not really one that goes on holiday much. So, going on holiday, it was great, nice bit of a break. Me and my son, we got to do quite a lot of good stuff. But boy, oh boy, every time the emails come flooding in, or you realize there's something to address or work on, it gnaws away at you bit by bit by bit. Hey Owen, how are you doing? How are things with you? So I had almost 5 days off work, and hey Tarkangas, and it was good. Mifli, how you doing? Mifili, sorry. So it's good fun, Jersey. There's quite a bit to see, bit of traveling required. Bloody expensive, though, I'll tell you that. Anthony G, very expensive Jersey with regards to like traveling and food. It ain't cheap. I'm going to tell you that now. It is not cheap. But when you're so engrossed in your work and creating not just content, but working on websites and working on new ideas and exploring plugins and other stuff, when you take a bit of time off, it puts me in an uneasy place, and it feels like you're almost going, do I deserve to be on holiday or should I still be working? And it really brought home something I've known for a long time. I like to do things, or basically anything in my life. And I don't just mean work, I mean what I eat and drink and when I watch TV or if I go shopping. It has to be worth something. It has to have like a benefit or a value to me. And even though I was on holiday with my son, and I know he absolutely loved it. He loved Jersey massively and he wants to go back next year. And I'm like, maybe we'll go somewhere else because it was quite expensive. Like, did you know a can of Pepsi over there is £2.60? A can of Pepsi is £2.60. What the heck's going on here? I mean, you could buy multi-pack, but they weren't cheap. Um, is that there were times where I'd be sat there thinking, I could be doing something else. And also when I looked at a lot of the emails that were coming in and sort of for collaborations or working on something, or maybe I'm already supporting some plugins, or other bits of tool and software, I really started to think hard about, I'm agreeing to do stuff where I don't really see many major benefit in it for me or the channel or my brand. And I'm going to start saying no a lot more because you start to evaluate your time so much more. So when you're away from your desk and you're kind of now just staring at your son as he's playing on a big jump, trampoline park, and you just sat there thinking, damn, I've got to sit here for an hour and look happy. You really contemplate a whole lot more. And I do reflect and contemplate a lot, but it gave me a lot of time to just rethink some of my strategy. So Beatrice, good to see you here. Owen says that he's really busy. I'm in mortgage mode at the moment, so I've taken on full time. So the bank's like me. Got you, mate. Got you. I mean, luckily, I cleared my mortgage in November 2024. I had to think about that then. November 2024 cleared the mortgage. So now I don't see myself looking to take out substantial loans or anything like that. I don't think I will, Bo. You never know in the future with mortgages as well. And right now, I'm in that position where I just want to build up my savings pot again. Sorry, I just got a message come through. I want to build up my money and stuff like uh sorry, I've just got to quickly reply to this message. Uh right, I've just heard my son say, damn it. What's up, mate?
I thought that you were busy, but I was like,
Yeah,
could you
what is
put
it?
shoelace?
Oh, I've got
Because
to do his shoelace. Can you just
because we're
hold on
doing
a
that
second?
exercise thing. Sorry,
This is what happens, right, when you have a. Why is your shoes wet?
don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I'm not sure. But your camera's wrong.
Have you weed? No, my camera's not wrong.
No, look on the live chat.
There's the camera. It's fine. Have you weed on your
No.
shoes or something?
No,
Right,
it's water.
right, okay, go.
Thank you.
Bye. Where you going?
Slide from on
Who with? All right, anyway, back to this. Right, okay, sorry about that. I had to take a quick breather. Chris, greetings from Bangkok. Um, Owen says, not sure if you're into cars, but I bought a very strange rare one. What have you bought? I'd like to know. What have you bought? You know, like, yeah, what have you bought now? So, one of the things that still really gnaws away at me on a daily basis, and I would almost say every half an hour, are a lot of the questions I see on the Elemental forums or the Web Squadron forums or some of the notifications and DMs and comments I get on my own YouTube videos or just general commentary I see in many places, Twitter, you name it, right? I see a lot of these comments. And a lot of them come down to what I call are, I was going to say nonsensical. So that's the wrong word. But I see a lot of questions that don't really need to be asked, especially with regards to AI. I said that wrong. I said that completely wrong. Let me rephrase that. I see a lot of questions coming in where the person could ask AI to help them out, but rather than do that, they go and ask it on a forum. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing that if you need to ask a question and you want to get like that human interaction or that human opinion. But a lot of the questions, in my opinion, are not really required by an expert to answer. I probably again said that in a very weird way. So let me explain again. Okay, let me just go back. Anyway, let me just quickly answer what Owen says. 1999 Civic Jordan, they only made 500. Wow. Wow, you've like that did that cost quite a lot for you, Owen, to get? Anyway, back to what I was talking about. I see a lot of questions being asked whereby people almost assume that they need to have an expert answer it or someone in the know. And if I'm really honest, a lot of those questions you could have gone and asked AI. For instance, they go and see a website and they're like, how do I replicate what this website is doing? A great example is on the Elemental page where they have that GSAP effect whereby the letters are highlighting as you scroll down. I did a tutorial on that on how you could do it. And how did I get to the bottom of that tutorial? All I did was right click and inspect the Elemental page, go to page source, save as whatever page source it is, download it to your hard drive, jump into Chat GPT, be kind of clear with what you want. So you might need to either mention the ID or a class name, or just say somewhere on this page there's a bit of text and it highlights line by line as I scroll down. Here's the page source. Can you tell me how to do this step by step inside of Elementor or whatever page builder you're using? Or maybe you just want to do it with HTML and CSS and JavaScript, so you're not even using Elementor or any page builder. And ChatGPT will chuck it out for you. And you can take what it gives you, stick it in a test page or a dummy site, and see what it does. And if it doesn't give you exactly what you want, you can then go to preview of your page, download the page source of your page. By the way, the reason I'm saying download it is if you try and copy, your page source can be so huge that when you stick it into ChatGPT or Grok or Claude or Gemini, it will fail and go, oh, this is too much information. But when you upload it, you can say, I tried that and this is what I got. And it wasn't working perfectly. And then ChatGPT will go, yep, because you did this wrong. Or, yep, we need to refine it. Oh, yep, I can now see that Elementor does things a little differently. There's a wrapper or a div or something out of place. And it will refine the code. And then you can work with that. You can even say, here's my page. So here's what I want, right? Here's the page source. Now here's my Elemental page, and I'm already using a pre-existing heading. And that heading I've given the class name of blah, blah, blah. Now give me the code to work with that. And ChatGPT can do it for you. But then there's so many people that have other questions as well, like, what's the best booking plugin I can use? Just go to ChatGPT and ask it. Just say, what's the best booking plugin, free or premium, or my maximum budget? And this is what I want to do. Don't just say I want a booking plugin. What are you trying to achieve? Deposits, date, time, bookings, and stuff like that. Do you have different seasonal prices for summer versus winter, adult, child, add-ons, upsells, and all of that? There's so much you can feed into AI, and it will start to generate and give you an answer. And if you don't like it, you refine your question or you prompt it a bit more. It's like saying, what's the best place to take my son on holiday next year that comes with a hot tub and it's got a playground or a play park nearby? And, I don't have to travel too far and it's within like 1.5 hours, 90-minute drive, give or take, away from my current location. And then AI will give you some stuff and I'll go, no, I don't like any of them, exclude them, give me some more. It's so much more knowledgeable than the old days when we had to go to forums, like Experts Exchange or Reddit. And you'd read ream after ream of reply, and half of the replies were people mocking each other. And you were trying to decipher, does this work? Will this work? I'm not sure about that. That kind of looks like it might do the job. But a lot of questions people have, I would say that if you're using a code snippet or a plugin or a tool and you get conflict or an error message, or something doesn't load, or something failed, or something doesn't look right, take a screenshot and upload it and ask ChatGPT. Copy and paste the error message. Tell it what plugin. Tell it what you were doing at the time that you think might be connected or you might not know, but just say, look, I came into my website, I ran an update on these plugins, here's the plugins I'm using, and I got this error. There will be a minority percentage, whereby ChatGPT will get it wrong, right? It's machine learning, or it doesn't give you the answer you want, or it's just not clear. But 99% of the time, it will get it right. So many questions that I answer on the Web Squadron forum or other places, I'm actually taking the question posted, sticking it into ChatGPT, and within seconds, I'm getting an answer. And then I'm saying, right, that looks good. I agree with that. Now reword the answer into one paragraph and I paste it in. Or if it gives a very complicated answer that's got a bit of code going on, I say to the person, you need to stick your question exactly how you wrote it into ChatGPT. It will pump something out for you. And they usually come back with and go, I did that and it didn't work. And I go, yeah, but what didn't work? What failed? Was it the way it looked? Take a screenshot, record a video. You can record videos to show the animation or the problem or the hover effect or how when you click, nothing is happening or something's out of sync or whatever. And you can upload that into ChatGPT as well. It's not just text, it's not just code. Videos, images, screenshots galore. So start utilizing AI because you can't just rely on AI. Okay. I want to give a caveat here. Sometimes speaking to someone is just as good. But you know what? When you really want an answer and you post a question, I might not see it. Someone else might not see it. A day might go by. You go and post somewhere else and no one else sees it there. And then suddenly someone replies on that forum and someone else replies on this forum, and they're two completely different answers and both require a bit of work. Where do you spend the time? Both of them? One of them? Neither of them? But with ChatGPT, you can pump in your question, refine it. And by the way, you don't have to use just ChatGPT, okay? There's so many other AI tools out there. Just use the one you want. And I actually sometimes, when I get an answer from ChatGPT, I sometimes go to Grok to see if it would have taken or done something different with that same question and what the answer was. Would it have deviated a bit? So I take the answer and chuck it in and go, so this is what I want to achieve. Are there any vulnerabilities? Are there any server errors? Are there any risk? Could it be done better? And then sometimes I go to Gemini and sometimes I go back to ChatGPT. It's okay to do that, but it's far quicker than waiting for someone to reply on a forum. Give it a go. AI is there to be our guide, our assistant. I don't want to say co-pilot, but it is kind of your co-pilot. Right, just go back to the questions. Sorry about that. I just kept talking and I thought, let me just get it out. Hey, Gail, how you doing? So Owen has spent £7,000 to register it on Irish Plates. That's not too bad, actually. I mean, 7,000's actually quite good, and if the cars doesn't need lots of major work doing to it, and it's kind of like MOT'd or whatever, I'm not sure how it works in Ireland, to be honest, but as long as it's driving and working, I would say that's not a bad thing, right? So has anyone done anything exciting with AI in the last week or so? Or is anyone still like um not I was going to say curious, but is anyone still kind of reserved or has reservations about using AI to help them out with answering questions? And I think more and more you're going to see probably me and others talking about AI because I think we've got to get a bit real now about AI, web design, developers, and the general public. So, what I mean is, Owen, sorry, says, I'm currently trying to vibe code a top down game using ChatGPT and the Game Maker engine. Is that just for personal pleasure, or do you think you're going to try and monetize it? Is that because you think you've got a bit of an idea here that could go places? Um, I tell you what game I really love, and even my wife really enjoyed playing it with me. And I think it was almost about 10, 11 years ago. It was called Dead Nation. No, I think it was long. I think it was earlier than that. It might have been 13, might have been 13 or 14 years ago. But it was called Dead Nation. It was a really cool top-down game, and they've never done a sequel for it. Anyway, um, so if you're doing it for your pleasure, that's not a bad thing. But I think with regards to AI, and I had a bit of a chat with this with a few people over the weekend, even though I was holiday. So while my son was in the hot tub, I was kind of like, chatting to a few people. We've got to get very real now about the fact that more and more, I think we're going to see a drive away from AI with some people going, you know what, I don't need to have a website built and I could just market myself on AI and hope I get found, or just create like a TikTok shop and just promote myself, my brand, and hope people will book me or buy a product. Um, so the whole website thing, I'm probably not saying this very well. Websites are still going to be there. There's still going to be a need for them. People still like using them. Um, it's a great one-stop shop for directing people to a platform where they can find out more about you and your product and your services. But the younger generation, more and more and more, are leaning away from websites. And we've got to find a way to draw them back in because so many people that are doing really, really well on selling things via, YouTube marketing or Google adverts or Facebook adverts or TikTok or Instagram Reels and all of that, a huge proportion of them do not have a website. Some of them aren't even using Linktree anymore because they're like, well, you know, my TikTok or whatever's got the links I want to show for someone to go and buy something. So I think slowly over time, we are going to see this kind of a bigger explosion in just people who decide they're just going to market on video platforms because we've gone kind of full circle, I think, right? The old days, old days, you have someone traveling from village to town to city, wherever, selling like, drink this bottle and it will cure baldness and whatever, right? Just drink from this, right? And they would go round and round and round. Um, and then, people started putting adverts in papers and then people would buy, oh, look, this advert says it will cure baldness. Then we move on to TV adverts, right? And then someone turns them and goes, when you drink this, you'll grow 5 meters tall. And people are like, oh, I want to get that, Ready Break. Who here from the UK remembers Ready Break? Does anyone remember Ready Break? You know, so kids at breakfast table, takes a spoon of this, and then porridge. It was almost like porridge in a way, and then they glow. They suddenly start glowing. You know, I was one of those kids that bought it thinking it would work on me. I know nearly everyone else I knew, they buy it and they eat it and they think it will work on them as well. And it wasn't, right? It was just it was just a cereal kind of thing. But how stupid did we all feel for doing that? What's up, mate?
I'm not taking my phone because that is way too much carry. But me and Rihanna are just gonna go around Station on our bikes.
How what time are you coming back?
Well, we're coming back to Station by 6 o'clock, or earlier. But can I come in at 8? But we're just gonna. After that, we're not coming out of the estate. We're
You
just
need
staying
to
in
you need
Rihanna's
to come home
bedroom.
at 6 to eat.
Yeah, I'll come in at 6 to eat.
And then we'll decide after that.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we'll decide after that, okay? You got to
Yeah.
come home at 6 though
Six.
to eat.
I mean, how-
We will discuss and see what's happening, okay? No decisions made on that. Okay, yeah, so ready break, right? We could go on and on, right, about certain adverts. Um and we just bought into it, okay? Because that was the power of video commercials, right? Obviously radio as well, prior to that, stuff, but video content really, really helped. And then, fast forward, we moved on to the internet. And I think a lot of us just stopped paying interest or taking a lot of interest in the commercials we saw on TV. Every time you watch a movie on TV and in commercial break, you're so irritated, and you'd either fast forward if you could, or you switched on to another channel. To be honest, the only time I take interest on adverts at a cinema is when it's a new movie. Otherwise, I really get, oh God, we're gonna watch the same commercial again. I mean, obviously the internet, and oh, I can go here to buy this product, I can go here to buy that. But you know, TikTok and loads of other stuff and YouTube and shorts and all of these things have suddenly taken us back to the power of video content, right? Um, and with that, we are now seeing the rise again of marketing. And it's not all honest. You are going to see so many adverts on TV, on TikTok. Well, not just TV, sorry. TV, yeah, to an extent. But, TikTok, YouTube, all of this where they make claims. The one I kept seeing all the time, and every time I saw it, I would just laugh. There was this big push about a year ago, and you still see them, not as much now, but there was this big push for, there were two major products that were being advertised left, right, center. One of them was like you put this like ring on and you spin around like that, almost like a hula hoop kind of, motion, and you're meant to lose loads of weight. And so many people were promoting it left, right, center all day long, right? And people were buying it. I'm yet to see anyone who's actually achieved anything from it. And then the other one was how if you bought a certain type of trainer that was being sold via TikTok, it would make you 3 inches taller. What it actually did was make you about this much taller. So roughly maybe nearly an inch, because it had a lot of padding at the back, but it was never going to make you this much taller, right? It was never going to do that. Okay, because for it to do that, it was lifting your foot almost into a heel, but it wasn't really making you 3 inches taller. But again, that was being advertised all the time. So there's a lot of false marketing now. Okay, Kickstarter even has a bits of that as well, but Facebook is rife with it. Okay. Buy this, you get this, do this, make your hair grow, make it taller, make you stronger, give you pack abs, you know, um, make your house waterproof or something like that, you know, um, turn your cat into a lion and silly stuff. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and we have more false advertising than ever. But again, I tend to deviate a lot. Just let me pull it back into web design, okay? For people, it's like if you're convincing enough in your video marketing, you may get a sale. So if you were selling on a website, you had to kind of make sure you got some testimonials, make sure you got good images, make sure you explain it, the benefits, what's the pain we're solving, what's the problem we're taking away if you get this product and do X, Y, Z and all of this, okay? You have to kind of almost slightly justify in places, hope someone makes the sale, the cart page, the checkout page, sign out, delivery, blah, blah, blah. But with video advertising, you just have to be convincing on what you're selling. So you could have someone who has spent 20 years of their life or whatever training at the gym every day and all of that, and then they'll turn up on a video and they'll be like, this drink gave me six pack, my abs. Without Look at that. Without this drink, I would not have this. Then people start buying it. This creatine drink, this protein powder. And you kind of like, that protein powder's only been out for like 4 weeks. And they're going, look what it did for me. And people believe it. Like, that probably had bugger all to do with why they've got big muscles. The big muscles was because of 20 years of hard work or something, or the way they look or the money they've earned. So many people do that. And we have this massive rise of what I call false, video gurus out there. Um sign up to my website course and you'll become, a millionaire, and all of that. And I keep going on and on about this because every day I see a new one happening. And I'm getting so fed up and sick of the amount of content creator gurus out there. There are some, right, that they put out a video every 2 to 3 days, and the content of the video is a little different, but the crux of the video is all about go and get my free guide or my business document or my special workbook guide. You can get it for free, completely for free. Just put a comment in to say you want it or click this link. But the whole point of it is to lead them into booking that person for like a one-to-one or signing up to like a $2,000 course. But hey, we're going to give it to you for $600 because we really want to work with you. Who does that? Anyone who like does that, right? I question them. I throw it back. I mean, I've had people, right? They don't know me. I've never met them before. They turn up and they go, "Yep, okay, yeah, we can do this work for you. I normally charge 4,000, but I like what you're doing, and I really want to, I think I can massively help you out. Why? I don't know how much money I've got in my bank account. I've got a BMW Series 4 Grand Coupe in my driveway. I've got a really good, decent house. I've got a big front garden, back garden, all of that. You come in my house, I've got 85-inch TV, and they're like, oh, yeah, I think I could really help you out. Yeah, I normally charge 4,000. I'll do it for two. I always sometimes look at them and I go, why? I go, what? So I sometimes say to them, so what would have been the 4,000 then? Because what's the breakdown then with the labor and materials? And then sometimes you can see them stutter and they go, oh, well, the materials is about 1,500. So I go, right. So you're only going to take £500 labor before you would have taken two and a half. I go, not sure I agree with that. And you can literally see them panicking in their eyeballs. They're going, well, you could argue web designers are the same, right? We charge what we want to charge. The difference is, though, we bring a level of skill, okay? Because what you have to appreciate is that if someone's going to build a brick wall is a brick wall. Yeah, you may have to change angles or foundation-y bits or what you're using. But a brick wall is a brick wall. A website is not a website because it's not a slap and paste kind of thing unless you're dealing with templates. There's always a little bit of like, fiddling and manipulating you got to do to make it work for the client, their goal or their aim. But we are hitting this point where sooner or later, people are just going to trust what a very polished content creator has put out in a very clever way. And there are people who are very skilled and good at delivering stories. You're going to hear this a lot. So people always say, if you really want to convince someone to buy something from you, give them a really, really good story. Barack Obama, okay, when he was doing his pitches before he became president, he was trained by a team, okay? I've met that team. I met them at an event in 2010. I had to go to it. The NHS in the UK were going to use that same team. I don't even want to think about how much money they wasted because basically all this team did was train. It was a massive event as well. There must have been, I mean, there were loads of tables. There's got to be at least 250 people there, NHS staff. And they were all being trained on how to tell a good story. Because if you can tell a good story, you can possibly convince patients to behave differently. You can train teams to work better. You can train managers to perform better with their teams. And I thought, what a load of shit. I don't care, right, what story team members have. I don't care. This is what we need to get done. Let's get it done. The only time when I will care is if suddenly I can see you're not performing, there's an issue, you look upset, something's happening at home, something's happening at work where someone's affected you. That's where I need to know the story. But I don't need to know about where you came from, what your family were like, where you grew up, all the hardship in your life, when all I want you to do is fix that fucking printer. I don't need to know all that. But you are going to see this massive drive um, from content creators, gurus, people that are trying to sell you a course, trying to buy something with a story about how rotten their life was until they bought this mouse. Um, and I just think that, like, if you asked me in 2022, 2023, would we still have websites? I would have said absolutely. Now I'm a little bit unsure. I think in by 2030, the landscape could be very, very different. I want to be optimistic. I think we need to ride the ride. We need to see how things pivot. But I think we also have to be a little bit honest with the fact that things are going to change. You know, um, I mean, I haven't tried it yet, you know, but I think maybe in the next live chat, maybe we'll put, AI next to the microphone and we'll have it on screen as well so we can see the answer being written. Is what how could AI completely replace websites? Not rebuild, but replace it. Because I was looking at new holiday resorts for later this year or next year. I did not go to Google. I was using ChatGPT. And the only time I went to Google was if I suddenly needed to get a link because I just wanted to check something out because I didn't want to ask ChatGPT to give me the link because I didn't want to break the trail or the train of thought we were directing. When I was looking at settings for my camera because I wanted to double check something, I just went to ChatGPT. I did not go to the Sony website or whatever when I was double checking my background with leveling it up. So I've moved that picture. Let me get my hand right. I've moved it down a bit. How could I balance off? So I moved the laptop and the Remarkable Pro over from this side, from that side to here. And I tried to make sure the lighting and, with the red glow and trying to balance things up. I don't think I've got it perfectly proper yet. So when you start to rely on AI to answer some of your questions or give you an opinion, like, I mean, look, right. So when I was in Jersey, right, and I was going to use the cooker to cook pizza, I was a little bit unsure of the oven settings. Now, I can work my oven at home, but I was a little bit unsure because I was looking at it and going, I think I know which one it is. So I took a photo, right, of the oven settings. Look at this, right? I took a photo and you can see all the symbols, right? It was actually this setting down here I needed to use. Whoa, let me see. It was this setting I needed to use, but I had it on over there for a minute. I just took a photo and I said, I need to, I said, can you confirm which one of these is the oven fan assisted function that I need to use because I want to cook pizza and some burgers, right? And AI was like, that one. That's the one you want. The one with the square with the oven, the fan. It's that one. And it explained what the others were, right? Nor how would you have done that without AI before? And that's like literally the power. It's like when we were out Thursday night. We went walking quite far. We climbed over fences, went through fields, down a kind of a sloping cliff kind of face. You know, it wasn't dangerous. Got to this massive beach, walked around, and then I realized, damn, it's a massive uphill struggle to get back home now, and we're quite a bit away from not home, but from the apartment. That's a chat GPT. Um, right now in Jersey, right now, who can I call who can, for a very reasonable price, get us back? They'll be like, here you go, here, use this number. 24/7, it'll get you there. Because I first I went on to Google and it gave me loads of details. I was like, oh, which one shall I use? Which one shall I use? Because it didn't tell you the prices. I used the one ChatGPT gave me. Taxi was with us within like 4 minutes. It wasn't Uber. They don't do Uber in Jersey, by the way. They don't. There's no Uber service, right? Picked us up, took us back. Very reasonable price for what I would expect it to be. Job done. I mean, I just used that same company all the time. Um, Sorry, I feel like I've gone on about AI now, and I know a lot of people prefer to talk about WordPress and stuff like that. So if anyone's got any questions, do fire them at me. Sometimes the YouTube comments, it it seems to pause for a bit, and I don't know if that's because no one's asking a question or because it's just momentarily paused. So I'm just going to double check by opening up the live chat in another window, and I'm just going to make sure this does not spray out any sound or anything. Um, just got to double check. No, it seems okay. It seems fine. Yeah, cool. Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Thanks, Gail. It's going to be interesting to see where are we in, I would say, 5 years' time. And it's going to be painful for a lot of people if we see a slump in web design. Everything goes in waves. So even if there's a slump, eventually people will realize, yeah, but I can make a bigger impact with a website. So what will happen is, so if you go back to 2010, 2011, there was a big ooh-ha about ebooks and people were saying, oh, traditional paperbacks, the death of them. And so many companies started investing. Even Neil Gaiman, he really looked into it as well. They started investing in like sounds. Can we create an ebook with moving pictures? Can we create an ebook where while you're reading, you'll hear the sound of waves thrashing on a cliff or something? Or if someone's walking on a beach, as you're reading and it detects your eye, or you hit a symbol on the page, you'll hear the sound of seagulls and, you know, whatever, or, you know, countryside and crickets and stuff chirping away. And there was a lot of that going on. People started looking into colors and things and words and text moving. Traditional paperbacks just went back up again. There was a decline. There was a bit of a slump. And now it's just got bigger, 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 bigger. They reckoned by 2015, hardbacks would be extinct. Why would you want to pay £20 for a hardback book when, you know, you can now have it as an ebook? That's as good as a hardback, right? Because your phone's pretty hard. No, hardbacks started rising. A literary agent, David Headley, right, based in London, He's got one of those shops in one of those really traditional cobblestone alleys ways, bit like Diagon Alley, slightly hidden away, but it's, very notorious for being the premium hard seller supplier in the UK, or is it London? Maybe just London, I'm not sure now. But his sales just started going up, 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 even though people were predicting the complete extinction of hardbacks. And paperbacks did really, really well. So I think with websites, there could be a bit of a slump, but then there will be the wise people that go, well, everyone's going there. Everyone's going to the TikTok shops and this and that. But then you know what? They're realizing they're not really getting value. The reviews will start to show, oh, don't buy this. That trainer's crap. That hair gel ain't good. You're not going to grow your hair back. And there's the market for the website now that will probably incorporate videos and testimonials and reviews and video reviews and loads of stuff. And then people will start going, right, I want to buy from a shop, from people that have a proper website, an address, a live chat, somewhere where I can query the product and get answers. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like we're gonna have waves, you know, and then the next big thing will come along, right, whereby people will now start to advertise via drones. Drones will fly around, and like as you're walking in a street and you look at a drone, it will instantly kind of start to display an advert, personalized to you or not personalized to you. I mean, that's very GDPR-ish now, isn't it? With data protection. How dare that drone know that I like to drink Pepsi Max? How dare it tell me there's a huge offer? I'll be like, whew, I'll go running to it. So I think we're going to have waves of things coming on like that. Just going to quickly check some of the comments coming in. No probs, everyone. You carry on working. Sorry, it's just sometimes when the live chat goes, when the chat comments go quiet, I go, ooh, there's something gone wrong. But at least I know that you're still working. So I think websites will slump and then they'll come back with a bang. Because you know, people are very gullible, aren't they? You know, they're very like they're very quick to assume that something is safe. It is value for money. It's bang for buck. I'm going to get what I want. It's going to deliver on a promise. And then when they get it and they go back to the content creator that was advertising it, the content creator goes, well, I was just showcasing a product. You didn't have to buy it. And then you kind of go, right, so who do I now go back to because there's a problem? And then the chain starts to break. Because a lot of products that are being put out there, I don't think they're the best product to use. They could be counterfeit or artificially, whatever's right. They're not brilliant. So you want to trust who you work with and who you buy from. And that's where websites will rule again. But, you know, we already know that with AI, if you keep training AI with details about your company and what you do, there's a very high chance that if someone says, I want to buy like a new camera, it might inform them about a camera that lots of people around the world have been pumping into ChatGPT about how amazing this camera is. And then ChatGPT goes, oh, well, it must be really good then. So there is this falsification of information that is on the rise, okay? There's a lot of stuff that sometimes does get promoted. I saw this video the other day where someone they like to reuse a Rudyard Kipling quote, right? So the author of the Jungle Book, right? So a Rudyard Kipling quote. I can't remember the quote. Okay, they say it a lot, and they say it a lot in their podcast. And what happened was they thought, oh, hold on a second, I do wonder. And they weren't putting it into Chat GPT. they were just putting it on their podcast a lot. They said to ChatGPT, um, "Do you know where this quote came from?" And the ChatGPT said, "This quote originated with this person," and the person was the podcaster. And it said it has been used by Rudyard Kipling as well, now and again, but the origination of this quote is this podcaster. And it gave their name and a link, and they were just shocked. They were like, they were more alarmed because they were proud of using a quote by a famous author writer. But here, machine learning was associating the origin of that quote to them. And they'd only been podcasting, I mean, they'd been podcasting a couple of years or so. But because of the amount of transcripts that are out there, then, because obviously the video, YouTube, somewhere things are getting fed into the system, right? And that is seriously crazy, you know. But I do think that at the moment that there is the first year of ChatGPT was groundbreaking, but it wasn't brilliant. But in 2024, it adapted and we had more models springing up. But again, it wasn't perfect. 2025, it's really gone up. Grok gone up, Claude gone up, Gemini, Perplexity. Copilot Microsoft is always a little bit in places, but they're all improving at a rapid rate. What I worry and fear is I might go on and say, I need a booking plugin for WordPress and I want it to do XYZ. There's a good chance it's going to tell me to use a certain plugin or a certain tool or a certain method that has been inflated and exaggerated by people. So it's basically sock puppeting. So in the creative world with writers, Goodreads, this happened massively on Goodreads and Amazon. Someone would release a book, could be a well-known publisher, or it could even be a self-publisher, and then people would pay or employ people to go and put 5-star, 4-star reviews. 4-star, 5-star, loads of good reviews about the book, right? On Goodreads and Amazon. It was sock puppeting. And I remember there were a couple of, I can't remember who it was, but I remember there was like a famous author who got caught out doing that and they got burned for it. And their publishing house, I'm not going to name who because I don't want to get in trouble, but their publishing house was also behind it. And you see this on Amazon products a lot, okay? You see this in loads of places where sometimes people even have reviews on their website. Web designers are guilty of this as well. They have sock puppeting of reviews to convince you that this is amazing. This Airbnb location is the bee's knees. You can't find anything better. And then you get there and go, what the heck? Well, the photos they post are orchestrated and wonderful. We're going to get to a point where there are going to be companies and people out there employing entire countries, groups of people to feed into the LLMs and whatevers that, you know, make sure you recommend this mouse to everyone. By the way, the Logi mouse is actually not that bad. It's a bit, sorry, there's a few marks on it, obviously, because my hand and, you know, I might have eaten something. What's that over there? Oh, what was that? I think it's a bit of a nut. Might be a bit of a nut. Still there, actually. Anyway, right. The Logi mouse is actually really, really cool and nice. I really like the way it feels in my hand. Anyway, people are going to start pumping stuff in. And eventually, we're just going to have drivel coming out. How AI handles that, I don't know. I'm sure it will. But I feel like at some point we are going to hit this crazy era of crap. All right. It will happen. And then we're going to have to sift through it. And that again is like going full circle, right? Remember I said, or I didn't say, or maybe I am going to say it now, is before we really had AI, before we had forums like Facebook groups and stuff like that, or going onto Twitter and asking people, if there wasn't someone sat next to us that we could talk to or ring up or text, you would go on to Experts Exchange. You would go on to Reddit. You would go on to just type a question and hope someone somewhere's answered it. And you'd be sifting through post after post after post after page after article after forum after comments. And so much of it was rubbish. You know, you know what's worse is when you post a question on Google or something, right? And then it says there's an article and the question looks almost identical to what you're asking. You get super excited. When you go in and the first answer to that question is like, what? How did we go from this question to this answer? And then someone else continues that answer and they continue it and they continue it. And you feel like all I wanted to know was how to transfer photos from here to my Mac. And you're now telling me about quantum mechanics. How did we get here? And you're sifting through and you're trying out, failed. Look at another one. Try that, failed. Oh, I'll look at another answer. Try that, failed. And you're going round and round in circles. We will get to a point where with AI, we're going to have to start sifting through what is the best answer. And that, I think, is the crunch point for when people will go, whoa, I need to find a trusted person. I need to find someone who knows what they're talking about, who walks the walk, who's got evidence, who isn't just an AI avatar. That's the other thing as well, right? I know YouTube has said we're going to stamp down on AI avatars and shit like that, but there's a lot of people where sometimes it's a bit difficult to know if they are the real deal. I would like to think that by now, hopefully, people trust me a little bit with some of the advice or opinions I give about web design or how to be efficient or different methodologies or how to move with the times and adapt and etc. etc. I would like to think people trust me. But you could, if you want, get a camera, a video, recorder, whatever, and learn the basics, or even get AI to say, I want to build XYZ. Give me a bulletproof step by step instruction on how to do this with Elementor. And then you just follow it step by step by step. And then you edit out the bits that you don't want to show. Maybe you were reading and going, right, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And then you record, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And then you record, or you don't record, you're already recording and then you edit it out. You could do that, right? How do we distinguish between what's real and not? That's when it gets a little bit dangerous. Beatrice, can I ask you something personal? On average, how young are your loyal subscribers? Well. I can actually tell you. I'm not going to put it. No, do you know what? Let's put it on screen. Shall I put it on screen? Well, let me first check that I don't share anything scandalous on screen because there's always some stats and stuff that really are just for the creator to know. But let me tell you then about my audience. Okay, let me see if I can. Audience. Can I show you? Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Okay, right. I'm gonna give you some exclusive details now about my audience. Okay, so I hope let's do the last 28 days. Okay, let's do the last 28 days because that gives you pretty decent insight, I think. So let me just make sure if I do this, can you see me? I think you can still see me. Let me just increase my. Oh, darn it. Sometimes OBS gets a bit funny. Right, okay, you can see me in the corner, okay? Um, so my top geographies, India has become, well, no, actually, let's go to videos because shorts, oh no, hold on, my mouse has gone funny. Ugh, my mouse has gone, am I clicking in the right place? Yeah, I am. Damn it, my mouse has gone funny. What have I done? Sometimes when you go, oh no, here we go, right, videos, right, cool, we're on now, right. So the videos, India is 20%. I Before it used to be United States, but India has now taken over. I got Pakistan, then United Kingdom, then Bangladesh. And then I think Netherlands comes after that. You can see that I have the bulk. So 84% is male, female is 15%. I I would love it if I had more females watching because I feel like the video content should not be just male dominated, in my opinion. But then again, I feel like 15% for the WordPress community is not too bad, you know. Um, in terms of age of audience, the bulk of my watchers are 25 to 34, and then it goes to 35. In fact, let me zoom in a bit on that so you can see. No, do you know what? Something is wrong because I don't know what's wrong. There seems to be a problem. Why is nothing working on my? I think I must have hit something earlier anyway. 35 to 44, then, 18 to 24. So really my target seems to be over here, which I think fits with what I feel like the audience would be, kind of like web designers, developers, people that want to get clients, change of career and stuff like that. So it's it's kind of in the ballpark, really. Yeah, look, nothing's working. Seriously don't know what's going on here. It's like everything's gone a bit funny there. Um, was that did that answer your question, Beatrice? By the way, I am going to jump off now in a moment because I feel like I think we've done enough for today, and I need to just go and check now where my son is because obviously he's gone into town with his friend. I need to know what he's doing. Out of curiosity, though, Beatrice, was there a reason you wanted to know that? Is that you just wanted to get some insight? I mean, um, I'm doing pretty well with the 18 to 24 market, not so well on the 55 plus market. I think once I start to look older and you can see some of the white hairs coming through there. I think once I get more white hairs, I may get some more watching me. That's usually how it works. I find, yeah, I find some content creators that have started in the last year or so that are in their like 60s or 70s that are talking about web design or YouTube or content creation. I've noticed that whenever they do like a live chat or something, and sometimes they have their members visible via a Zoom, they're off the same age bracket kind of thing. Indeed, Beatrice, I do remember that. Okay, everyone, I'm going to jump off now. Thanks for joining the live chat. Um, I think I'm still adjusting to the fact that this is like members only live chats now. I hope that a lot of people that watch our videos sign up to join the channel and pop along and join in the live chats. If not, then that's just how it is. And sometimes it means that we have more intimate chats, I think. And also people get to recognize who's attending as well. All right, I'm going to jump off now. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. Have good fun. I can't turn off. Look, my mouse has been really funny today. My mouse, I don't know what I've done. It might have been when I lifted it. Anyway, take